Hi there, my friends. Welcome to this Feel Good Flow. For class today, grab a couple of blocks, maybe a strap, a blanket if you like to have anything kind of supporting under your knees. And as always, your body, your practice. So take any modifications that you would like. If something doesn't feel right, back out of that pose. You can always take a break in any resting pose, like child's pose. Just listen to your body. Do what's right for you today. We will get started just down on our seat in any comfortable seated position. You could come into just a seated Sukhasana. If you'd like to sit up on a blanket or a prop, you could place that underneath your seat. Bring your hands on top of your knees and close down your eyes. Just start to focus on your breath, maybe inhaling in and out through the nose. And then really ground down through your sit bones into the mat. As you reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, see if you can get just a little bit of length there in your spine. Today's class, we will focus on some rotation through our thoracic spine, which can kind of be a sticky area for some of us. So maybe think of an intention for your practice today. You could use just a simple I am statement. Maybe I am open. I'm flexible. I'm adaptable. Even something like I'm aware. I'm listening to my body. Let's just take one more breath in and out. You can gently open your eyes. Let's inhale the arms up overhead. Reach palms towards one another. And then exhale, just bring the hands down through heart center. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, sweeping the arms out to the side. All the way up overhead. Exhale, hands down through heart center. 1 more time. Inhale them up. Exhale them down. Let's inhale them up 1 more time. Allow the palms to touch and then bring the right hand down to the right side. Reach that left arm up overhead into a nice side bend here. Open through your chest. Inhale the arms up overhead and take it over towards the left side. So left fingertips down, right arm reaches over. Get length on the right side of your body. Let's inhale up overhead. We'll do over towards the right again. Take that side bend. Really open through your chest. Ground down through that left sit bone. And then kind of the opposite way. Let's close off through the chest. Reach that left arm out in front. And then sweep the arm in front of you. Allow that right arm to follow as the left hand comes down. And then we open the chest up into our side bend on the opposite side. And then close off the chest. Sweep it forward. Just do a few more of these on your own breath. So we would be inhaling into that opening and then exhaling into the closing. Let's just do 1 more now to each side. This can feel like a really nice stretch there along the back when you kind of close off there through the lat and behind the shoulder blades. Oh, I lied. I said 1 more. Let's go to each side 1 more time. This just felt so good. I didn't want to stop. Once you reach over to the left 1 more side, inhale the arms up overhead, and then exhale. Let's twist towards the right. So start to bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee, but instead of taking that right arm all the way down behind us to the ground, just reach that right arm behind. Notice any difference there when we don't kind of have the hand on the ground there to help us. And then let's just sweep this arm forward and back a few times, kind of like you're pulling on that bow and arrow. You could even take that left arm out to the front if it would help to have something for your right hand to meet. Just do 1 more. Come back into that twist. Reach the arms up overhead, and then let's twist to the opposite side. So the right hand can go to the outside of the left knee, and then reach that left arm behind you. Really twist there. Think about the thoracic spine. We're leading with the heart space. And then start to take those little sweeps forward and back. You could bring the right arm out in front. We'll do this in a few different positions throughout class today. Maybe we can notice as we progress if the chest starts to open, middle spine area as well. So release that right hand, bring it back up to center. And then let's exhale, release the hands down, and we'll do a little bit of hip mobility here. I think I will turn, I'm trying to think of how to show you. I will turn on my mat this way, just so you can kind of see. Let me think. I gotta think about it. Which way to face. So we'll have kind of like that 90, I always call it the cheerleader stance. It's like the 90-90. So we want to have the left leg in front of us. Knee is at 90-degree bend. And then we'll have the right leg out to the side, inside sole of the foot facing down. So 90-90 in the legs, and then we'll align the torso over the left leg, which will be the front leg. So you can have hands at heart center. You could also have hands down to the side if you need a little bit of help. And we'll actually just rotate from side to side. So right now we've got one leg in external rotation and one leg in internal rotation. And we'll kind of move through the center here and take it to the opposite way. So now the right leg is in front in external rotation, and then the left leg is out in internal rotation. And you can use your hands for this as you go back and forth if you need a little bit of extra support, or you can work to have your hands at heart center. So just go back and forth here on your own breath. And you'll probably notice you start to, this is why I was trying to think of which way to align on my mat. You'll migrate on your mat. I didn't want to end up right in the camera there. And you could even add, as you go to each side now for the last few, once you come over to the side, you could even take a slight little forward bend, if that would feel okay in that left hip on each side. Getting a little added stretch there through the outer hip. Let's do each side one more time if you're not already off of your mat. And then we can release. That's a great mobility drill there for our hips. Let's realign on our mat, and we'll just come into a tabletop here. So in a tabletop, allow your wrists to be under your shoulders, knees can be underneath your hips, and just kind of rock back and forth here. Get a little bit of a stretch there, going through the forearms, stretching into the wrists. And then take your fingertips to point out to each side and rock side to side, getting into the wrists there. We'll have the opportunity, you don't have to take it, but the opportunity today for a few vinyasas, going through plank and chaturanga. So we'll warm up our wrists. Then you can bring both fingertips to point back towards your knees and just rock back and forth a little bit. You could always take this one hand at a time if it's too intense to do both. And then we'll go ahead and take the fingers back forward. Inhale and reach that right arm up overhead, and then exhale, take a thread the needle. So thread that right arm underneath the left, come onto the right shoulder, the right cheek, and then reach that left arm out in front. Keep those sit bones reaching high and wide behind you. Take one breath here. And then bring this left hand back towards the face. Press down into that left hand. Open it up. And then exhale it down. Let's do that on the left side. So inhale that left arm up. Exhale, thread it through. Can always have those fingertips down or palm down or up on fingertips for that right hand. For some reason, it feels good for me to kind of tent my fingertips and gaze, underneath that right armpit. Let's just take one more breath. Bring that right hand back towards the face. Press down into that right palm as you release that left arm. Reach it back up and then exhale back down into your tabletop. You can walk your hands about a hand's distance in front of where they are now. Curl those toes. Lift your hips up into your first downward facing dog. You can have bent knees. Reach those sit bones high. Draw that low belly in. Push the mat away. You can walk it out, lowering one heel and then the other. Maybe hearing some cracks through those toes. And then find some stillness in your downward facing dog. If straightening the legs causes rounding in your back, keep those knees bent and keep those sit bones reaching high and wide. Bent knees is totally fine in your downward facing dog. Heels up is great too. You don't have to have straight legs with the heels down. Let's inhale and lift this right leg up, bend the knee, and just take some hip circles on that side. Do about 3 in one direction. And then 3 in the opposite. Try to keep that right shoulder from opening up. And then once you've done 3 in each direction, bring that right knee in towards the nose, plant the right foot, and then come down onto that back knee for Anjaneyasana. If you'd like to slide a blanket under that back knee, you can. You can have blocks underneath your hands. Just take a few breaths here in that Anjaneyasana, allowing those hips to shift forward. Squeeze through that left glute. You can keep your hands on blocks or work to reach the arms up overhead. And then exhale, come into a twist here in your Anjaneyasana. And then we'll do those same little arm reaches like we just did in that seated twist. So right arm will come forward, almost like you're pulling on a bow and arrow. Let's do maybe one more. You can kind of feel that opening there through the thoracic spine. And then exhale, bring that left hand down onto the mat or your block next to this right foot. Keep the right arm reaching up overhead and then curl those back toes. Lift that back knee up into a revolved lunge. You can gaze up at that right hand. Keep your inner thighs hugging in. Little challenge here. See if you can rotate, lift that torso all the way up. Keep it rotated to the right into a twisted crescent, and then circle that right arm down, around, and up into high crescent lunge. In your high crescent lunge, we'll do 3 pulses of that back knee going down. So take an inhale up, and then exhale, back knee drops down. 3, exhale down. 2, exhale down. 1. Come back into that high crescent lunge. Let's reach forward with the torso. Grab your blocks, place them in front of that front foot, and then either launch forward into a supported warrior 3, or you can take some little hops with that back leg to help you get forward. In your supported warrior 3, hands on top of the blocks. They could be on the mat as well. Keep this left hip closing down towards the mat. Reach the toes behind you, long line, crown of your head through those toes, and we'll just do some leg lifts here. We'll do 5, 4, use that glute muscle, 3, 2, last one. We'll step that left foot back and rise back up into that high crescent lunge. And then exhale, hands come down to frame that front foot. So right foot will step back to meet the left in a plank. You can either exhale the hips up to downward facing dog, or you could come down onto knees or take a full vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. There will be a few opportunities today for vinyasas. Listen to your body. If you feel like going through them today, go for it. If you don't, you can always skip them and just meet in downward facing dog. Let's inhale that left leg up, bend the knee, take those hip circles on the left side. 2, 3, change directions. 3, 2, 1. Lift that left leg up, exhale, knee in towards the nose, plant that left foot, and we'll come into that Anjaneyasana on the left side. Slide a blanket under that back knee if you need it. Allow those hips to come forward. Take a breath here. Squeeze the right glute. Draw that transverse abdominis in. And then inhale, arms up overhead if that would feel good. Exhale, twist to the left. And then take those bow and arrow sweeps with the left arm. Opening through the chest. Let's do one more. And then cartwheel, right hand down, left hand reaches up into a twist. Curl those back toes, lift that back knee. And then here's our little challenge. See if you can keep that belly drawing in, rise it all the way up into a twisted crescent. Circle that left arm down, around, and up, face forward, high crescent lunge. Those 3 knee pulses. So inhale up, exhale down. 3, 2, 1. Back up into that high crescent lunge. Grab those blocks, fold forward over that front leg. Come into your supported warrior 3. Take those little hops with the back foot if you need to. That is a big move to go from crescent lunge all the way to a balancing pose at the front of the mat. 5 leg lifts here. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Bend that left knee, step the right foot back, inhale it back up into your high crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down, left foot meets the right in a plank. Lift the hips to downward facing dog or vinyasa or modified vinyasa. If you're taking a modified, come down onto the knees. Exhale down through chaturanga. Chest comes to the mat. Inhale up, cobra. Press down through the tops of your feet. And then press back up through tabletop. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a breath here in your downward facing dog. And then inhale, lift that right leg again, bend the knee. Take just 2 hip circles this time, 2 in each direction. Lift that right leg up, bring the right knee forward. We'll come back into Anjaneyasana, come back into that low lunge. You can have hands on blocks. Then we'll take our arms into like a basket. So you can have like fingertips over ears. If that's not feeling good, you could always just have arms kind of out in a cactus. And then from this basket, we'll take some rotations. So bring that left elbow towards the right knee. So really engage those obliques. We're feeling that twist there through the thoracic spine. And then bring that left elbow up. You can release the hands, reach the left arm back behind you, and then reach the right arm up overhead. And then we'll bring hands back into that basket as we cartwheel forward. So left elbow, right knee. Reach the left arm back towards the back of the left leg. Right arm reaches up. We'll do that a few more times, elbow to knee. So we're really rotating the chest kind of there through opposite directions. Twisting to the side and then opening to the opposite side. Let's just do one more. And then we'll cartwheel all the way forward. That left hand comes back down into that twist. This is where our repetition comes in. Curl the back toes, lift that back knee. See if you can lift up. Really have to hug those inner thighs in. Twisted crescent. Right arm comes down, around, and up. High crescent. You can take those knee pulses here. Let's just do 2. So we'll do exhale down 1, exhale down 2. Then see if you can bring your hands to heart center, shift forward, and we'll take a full warrior 3 here. So you might need to do those little hops. Come forward, warrior 3. Left hip is facing down. If you want to reach your arms up overhead, you can. And then we'll exhale that left leg back down. Land in that high crescent lunge. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Right foot meets the left. Option here for your vinyasa. Or simply meet in downward facing dog. And take an inhale in through the nose. Let it go through your mouth. Let's inhale that left leg up 2 hip circles. 2 in the opposite direction. Reach that left leg up. Exhale it forward. Anjaneyasana on the left side. Squeeze that right glute. Exhale, come to that basket. Elbows out to the sides. Fingertips can be kind of right behind the ears. And then we'll take those rotations. So now right elbow goes to left knee. And then we're kind of cartwheeling that elbow up and back behind us. And we'll try that again. Elbow to knee. Cartwheel it up. Elbow to knee. Cartwheel that left arm up overhead. I think this might be our last one here. Elbow to knee. Cartwheel it up, and then cartwheel the arms forward. Right hand comes down next to that left foot. Open that left arm up into the twist. Curl the back toes. Lift that back knee. This is the trickiest part for me. Squeeze those inner thighs. Hug the belly in. See if you can rise up into a twisted crescent. Left arm comes down, around, and up. High crescent. Knee pulses. 1, 2. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hinge at the hips there. Shift the torso forward. See if you can launch into maybe a warrior 3. Lift that right leg behind you. Think of long line. Toes through the crown of the head. Maybe reach the arms forward. Exhale that right hand down. Right foot down, sorry. And then exhale both hands down. Frame that foot. Step back, high plank. Take your vinyasa or downward facing dog. Take an inhale and an exhale in your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift that right leg up, bend the knee, and then work to open the hip. So bring heel towards the glute and then open the knee up towards the ceiling. Just take a breath here. And then bring that right leg forward. We'll come back into that Anjaneyasana one more time. Go ahead and bring the fingertips behind the ears. We'll just do one rotation here. So left elbow to right knee, cartwheel it up, and then instead of bringing that left hand down, bring your right hand down, either to a block here or the mat on the inside of your right leg. And then rotate that left shin to be parallel with the front and back of the mat. Open this left arm up. This is like a modified side angle, so we're opening the chest. Hand can totally be on a block here if that would feel better. So just take a breath here. And then exhale, bring that left hand down. Rotate that shin back. Open the right arm up. Now we come into that twist here. So let's curl those back toes. Lift the knee. See if we can rise up. It's not getting easier for me. Into that twisted crescent. Right arm comes down, around, and up. And then let's come forward into that warrior three. So shift forward. Hands can come down in front of you. Supported warrior three. And we'll try to take a revolved half moon here. So left hand stays down either on a block or the floor. Keep this left hip closed, facing down towards the mat. See if you can rotate here and open the right arm. Hug everything in. Press down through the right foot. And then exhale. Release that right hand. We'll come back into that supported warrior three. Step that left foot back, rise up into high crescent. You guessed it. Exhale the hands down. Step back into your plank vinyasa. In that upward facing dog, press down through those palms, press down through the tops of the feet. Meet in downward facing dog. Let's inhale that left leg up, bend the knee, open the left hip. So left heel towards the glute. Think knee up towards the ceiling. And then exhale that left leg forward. Release that back knee, inhale it up, Anjaneyasana. Take those hands into that basket, do one rotation. So right elbow, left knee, circle it up, left hand reaches up overhead, and then keep that left arm reaching forward. Come to the inside of that left leg on a block or your mat. Shift that shin, open the right arm up overhead. We're opening chest up towards the ceiling, stretching the right side body. Cartwheel that right hand down. Shift the shin back to face forward on your mat. Open that left arm up. Curl those back toes. Lift that back knee. Revolved crescent. Last time here. We've got this. Let's inhale it up. Squeeze those inner thighs in. Twisted crescent. Circle that left arm down, around, up into your high crescent. Hands can come to heart center. Let's come forward into warrior three. Hands can come down onto the mat or blocks. Right hand stays down. See if you can twist and open that left arm up. Keep this right hip closed. We're squeezing through the right glute, squeezing through the left glute medius to help us stabilize. Maybe shaking. Exhale the left hand down. Step that right foot back. Inhale the arms up into your high crescent. One more time. Exhale, hands down. Step that left foot back to meet the right. Final option here for vinyasa. We've done it. That felt like a lot of vinyasas today. It's good for us. In your downward facing dog, take an inhale in through the nose. Let it go through the mouth. Inhale this left leg up. And then exhale, bring the left foot forward to the outside of your right hand into a high lizard lunge. Can rock back and forth. If you'd like to come down onto that back knee, you can, and maybe take some little side to side movements. And then from here, if you're not down on your knee already, you can come down onto that back knee. Start to heel toe this right foot over towards the left hand, and we'll come down into pigeon prep. So we'll lower onto that right shin. Goal here is to have hips square to the front of your mat. So if you need to use a block to kind of prop up and support that right hip, go for that. Don't worry about where your shin is. It doesn't need to be parallel. Just choose what's comfortable for your hip, your knee, your ankle. And then once you have found some steadiness here in your pigeon prep, either on a prop or on the mat. Exhale and just fold forward over that front leg. Just release here. You can let the breath go through the mouth. Check in with that right glute, that outer hip. See if you're clenching. Try to release it if you can. I'll probably say that in every class I ever do pigeon prep in because I am always clenching. It's my reminder to myself. Check back in with that I am statement. We just did a pretty powerful flow that required a lot of balance, probably some movement you're not familiar with the rotations. So just come back to that intention. On your next inhale, you can start to walk the hands back towards the hips. Place them to frame that front shin, curl those back toes, and then lift that right leg back to meet the left in a downward facing dog. You can take a little walk, maybe notice the difference here between the two sides of your body. Inhale that left leg up and then exhale that left foot forward into your high lizard lunge. So left foot comes to the outside of the left hand. If you need to take a few steps to get there, that's all good. Maybe rock back and forth while you're up on those back toes. Come down onto that back knee. You can rock side to side. And then let's walk this left foot over towards the right wrist. Come down onto that left shin. Check in with those hips. Try not to dump onto one side if you're noticing those hips opening up to the right side of your mat. Prop it up with a block. Just try to help get those hips square. And then once you have found some steadiness, exhale and fold forward over that front leg. Check in with the glute and the outer hip. See if you can release. Just breathe. Last breath here. In and out. And then start to walk your hands back towards your body. Curl those back toes. Lift that left leg back to meet the right in your downward facing dog. Final wiggles here. And then come down onto your knees, cross your ankles, and come onto your seat. Bring your legs out wide on your mat. So you can take your hands on the inside of your knees, open the legs out to either side. Make sure you're on those sit bones. And then we'll just take some side bends here. So whatever you'd like to do with the right hand, you can reach it alongside the inside of that right leg. You could even counter and reach it towards the left leg. Let's just take that left arm up overhead. So right arm can be kind of anywhere that feels good. Just make this movement your own. Open up through the chest. Take it to the opposite side. And then just do this a few times on your own breath. Side to side. Next time you come over towards the right, let's do the same thing we did at the beginning, where close off the chest and then sweep that left arm over towards the left, right arm follows, and then open up the chest. So just take those sweeps. Kind of feeling like a ballerina. It's all good. And then once you come back to center, let's just get a long spine, ground down through the sit bones, and then allow the pelvis to tilt forward as you walk your hands out into a nice gentle fold. So just release here. You can always have hands on blocks, elbows on blocks. Let's just take 2 breaths here in a fold. And then wherever you are, just start to walk the hands back towards the torso, realign the spine. Bring your hands to the inside of the knees and then gently bring them in to meet. Come onto the soles of your feet. Hands can come behind you and just take a few gentle little windshield wipers from side to side. Back on our seat, Reach the legs out long, toes point up towards the ceiling. And then let's bend the right knee, come onto the right sole of the foot. Inhale that right arm up overhead, and then exhale, let's twist over towards the right. So right hand can come down behind you. Left arm can just hug that right knee in towards the chest. If it would feel good for your neck, you can gaze over the right shoulder. On your next exhale, come back to center and then continue the twist towards the left a little bit. Bring both hands down to the side and just take a little counter twist. And then let's switch sides. Right leg reaches long, left knee bends. Reach that left arm up overhead, lung, spine. Exhale, hug that knee into the chest with your right arm. Keep that right leg active. Feel that twisting there through the obliques, through that thoracic spine, that middle back. On your next inhale, let's come back to center. Continue towards the right. Just take a little tiny counter twist. And then come back to center. Can walk our seat towards the middle of the mat. And then let's just lower down all the way onto our backs. Slowly. You can hug the knees in. And then place the soles of your feet down about hips distance apart. And then you can play around with the distance there. I like to do about a hand's distance from my hips. And we'll just press up and down into some gentle bridge poses. So press down through the feet, through the heels, squeeze the glutes, tuck the pelvis, just lift it up. And then exhale it down. Let's do that 2 more times. Lift it up. Exhale it down. Last one here. Press down through the feet, tuck the pelvis, squeeze those glutes, draw that transverse abdominis in, lift it up. And then you can either stay here, or if it might feel good to kind of open through the chest, you can walk the shoulders underneath, reach your arms underneath your body. You could work to clasp your hands or just press your palms down into the mat. And then kind of work to open that chest a little bit. Keep those glutes squeezing, keep pressing into your heels. Just keep your gaze up at the ceiling. And then release the hands, roll it all back down. And just take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. Bring those knees back in towards your chest and let's take a happy baby. So outer edges of the feet, yogi toe lock, which would be peace fingers and thumb around the big toe, or you could grab onto your ankles or shins also, whatever might feel good. And then draw those knees down towards your armpits. Keep your feet parallel with the ceiling. And then check in to see if your sacrum and your shoulders are down on the mat. Work to press both of those down into the mat. That might mean kind of releasing the legs a little bit. That's all good. You can rock side to side. Just take one more breath here. Release the legs, hug them in. And then let's extend that left leg long, hugging the right knee in. We'll take this into a spinal twist. So come onto the outside of this left hip as you take the right knee over towards the left. Reach that right arm up overhead and out to the right into a T. Left arm reaches out to the left. You can stay here, or if you'd like to kind of keep up with our theme of class and the repetition, take this right arm over towards the left hand and then do that bow and arrow motion here in your twist. See if that helps you kind of open up a little bit more through the chest. Getting that right shoulder blade down on the mat. Do one more if you're taking these bow and arrows. And then just stay here for a breath. You can gaze towards the right thumb. On your next inhale, let's come back to center, hug that right leg in, and then switch sides. Right leg reaches long, hug that left knee in. Make sure you're coming onto the outer side of this right hip as you take that left leg over. Left arm reaches up overhead and out to the side. Take your arms into a T. Stay here for just a breath. And then add those bow and arrow reaches with the left arm if you'd like. So left hand towards right hand, opening it up. Do 2 more. Last one here. And then just pause. You can gaze to the left. On your next inhale, bring it back to center. Hug that left knee in one more time. Hug the right knee in. Circle those knees, kind of roll out there through your low back, through your sacrum. And then let's meet in Shavasana. Extend both legs down towards opposite corners of the mat and just allow your legs to splay open naturally. Lift your chest, tuck those shoulder blades underneath, reach your arms out to the sides, palms face up, and then check in with the back of your neck. See if you could maybe just get a little bit of length there in your cervical spine. Close down your eyes. Release any control that you've had on your breath. And now is the time to just observe it, the inhales and the exhales. You can kind of feel different areas of your body. Any sensations that might be arising there after all of that movement. Maybe some movement that we don't normally take through those rotations, through some balancing, quite a bit of balancing. Notice if any areas are still holding on to tension and see if you can just let that go. Checking in with your feet through your toes, through the top and bottom of your foot, through your ankles. All that balancing requires stability in our ankle. See if you can just release. Release through your calf muscle, the front of your shin, up into your knee. Feel your thigh bones and those big strong muscles around your thighs just melting into the floor, feeling heavy. Feel your hips and your pelvis just sinking into the floor. Relax through that low belly, all the way up into your ribs. Feel your collarbones widen and just sink as your shoulders sink down into the mat as well. Release through your upper arm bones, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists. Feel the heaviness there in the palm of your hand, rooting it to the ground as you release any engagement or tension all the way up through your fingertips. Relax through your neck and your jaw. Feel your tongue relax away from the roof of your mouth. Any tension in your cheeks and your forehead, simply let it go. Release all the way up through the crown of your head. When you're ready, start to take any little micro movements, wiggles through fingertips, through toes, up into your wrists, your ankles. Take a deep breath in as you reach your arms up overhead and your feet down in the opposite direction into a good morning stretch. As you exhale, draw those knees in towards your chest and give them one final hug. Carefully roll onto your right side, using your right arm to cradle your head in the fetal position, and just take a pause here. When you're ready, press down through that left hand. Lift yourself up into any comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Come back to that intention. Repeat it again to yourself. Maybe perhaps use it as a mantra for your day. Let's take one final inhale and exhale together. Inhaling in. Exhaling out. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day.